Hey there, welcome back. We got a new one on this video. I am painting kitchen cabinets for the first time. Doing this job for my cousin, and it's related to our build project because one of the reasons that I have taken this on was to gain some skills in how to do this, because we're going to be doing this to save some money on our own project. So this will not be an exhaustive how-to on painting cabinets. I am going to show you parts of the things, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff that didn't come up in the how-to videos, which there's a lot of great how-to videos. I bought a Graco Magnum X5 sprayer, and I use that for this. And I'm going to kind of jump into this project, not at the very beginning, but into it a little ways, show you some things, point out some steps, and we'll see the final solution. So if you're interested in that, let's get going. First thing I'm going to show you as we walk in here is I've got this set up with my doors and drawers, and I have removed all the hardware from them. I've washed them down with Crud Clutter, and I've sanded them and got them hanging here on this rack setup. The reason that I've chosen to hang them is so that I can spray both sides. And I'm spraying both sides because the paint that I'm using is Benjamin Moore Advanced, and it has a 16-hour cure time. So we didn't really have enough time frame in order for them to get into their house to be able to do that on both sides. So what we have is this hanging so I can put these up, spray both sides, and get the bottom. Now, that's a good thing, and it created some problems, which I'll show you in a little bit. Here we are now in the kitchen itself, and you can see where things have been masked off. This takes a lot of time to tape things out to get it so you don't really often want to spray the inside of the cabinets, although we are doing one on the inside. And the reason for that is the material that is used on the inside, it doesn't always want to adhere to it very well. So typically when cabinets are being painted, they're going to be masked off, and things will not be sprayed on the inside. So that kind of gives you a picture of where we are, and let's look a little bit of the spraying setup that we have. right, update on the painting. So yesterday I got the sprayed the first coat of primer. You saw some of that footage there as I was doing the doors and the drawers. Went inside, put the suit on, did the inside. Didn't want to film that. Didn't want to get paint on the camera. And it's been about 2 hours of sanding to get ready for the next coat of primer. So where I had a lot of overspray with the primer, too much primer on parts. So hopefully I can learn the lesson here, and on the next coat of primer, I'm going to go over it just quicker, not apply as much, not hit, especially like the top part and the bottom. I got too much paint on and a lot of scraping and a lot of sanding to get that done. So just to give you a, let me flip this around and give you a picture of what I'm talking about. Okay, this is actually a shelf, but if you can see here, got those drips. We don't want those drips. So I just figured out that I could, for those big splotches, I could scrape them and then go through and sand after I scrape. Like all the cabinets, I didn't scrape anything. I just went and sanded it down. And when you have those splotches, it's so much faster to hit it with the scraper. So this is part of the learning curve. Frustrating a little bit, to be honest with you. But you got to learn. And so this is a good way to learn. All right, we're back and getting ready to do the final coat of paint. This has been quite a learning experience for me, and by learning experience I mean a full range of emotions requiring perseverance and gratitude in order to extract the value from, because some of the times it feels like despair isn't going to get done. But let me show you a little bit of where we're at and some things I've learned. So we've got the first coat of paint. Again, I'm using this Benjamin Moore Advanced product, which has a 16-hour cure time. Whoop, go the other way. So the just looking at things, we've got a little bit of sanding to do here before this final coat goes on. So I picked up some 220 sandpaper this morning just to put it on there. And let's go inside and look at the faces. These are looking pretty good here. The masking has held up well. This Benjamin Moore has a nice finish to it. It's this part here, I gotta sand that down a little bit. You know, you tend to, when you're doing a job, I think what you tend to think about is all of the things that you don't quite look right. And that's just how it is sometimes. I got a few spots in here that I can see I need to sand. I'm gonna use the palm sander for there's about 3 or 4 spots that I've got to hit here. So a little story. I was a football coach for a number of years, and when I became a head coach, and a part of that process, I became the offensive coordinator. And so I needed to learn a lot in order to do that. And I came across a program online called End Zone System by a guy named Noel Mazzoni, who's an offensive coordinator for a lot of colleges. And it was all about speed and tempo and no huddle, and you're sending signals in. And part of the philosophy is that by going fast, you're going to kind of tire your opponent out. And so just always trying to go as fast as you can. And so that had gotten so kind of ingrained into me. Well, what ended up happening was we're playing a rival team. We're winning. It's in the fourth quarter. And my coach or one of my assistant coaches, who is a guy who's had a lot more experience and a lot more years than I did, said to me, "You think we should slow the tempo down?" And I was like, "No, we got to go fast." So like into this idea. Well, we ended up losing that game, and in retrospect, I was like, "Man, we should have slowed down because we gave them more opportunities to have the ball." That was a painful lesson. So in this painting experience here, the first coat that I did with the sprayer, you're watching all these spraying videos. It's my first time using a sprayer, and I'm like, well, I can't touch it in order for the finish to become right. I can't touch it. Well, it's my first time spraying, so you overspray, you put a little bit more on than you should, and there's like paint running and stuff. And all of those doors and drawers that are hanging, I come back the next day, and there's all this like runs on them, and especially at the bottom of them, all these like drips and stuff. And I spent a couple hours scraping, or not scrape, yeah, scraping and sanding them down. I should have scraped; that would have been quicker. But I just sanded them down, and I'm like, man, this is awful. And it like reminded me of that kind of same concept that I had um, with the tempo. I was like, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go fast. I can't do anything differently. And it's like, you forget some like basic things about like painting, of pick up a paintbrush and wipe those off. So um, that's my that's my tip for you when you're doing this. If you're using a sprayer, you'll save yourself a lot of time if you go and as it's starting to set, just go and clean the drips off for it there. So I'm going to get working here. It's about 6:40 Saturday morning. I gotta try to get this done pretty quick here this morning, so that I've got some other things going on here today. Um, but yeah, hopefully I can show you the finished product. I think all in, I'm going to have about 40 hours on this project once I get the hardware back on, which is pretty good. As you watch things, a lot of times I think a real good crew can come in and do it in 3 days, but that's at least 2 to 3 guys. So if you got 3 guys taking 3 days, um, then you've got well over 40 hours in on that. So to do this in 40 hours, I think that's a pretty efficient thing, despite my inexperience with it. All right, I got to get cracking. So that was the setup there. Sanding table, spray spot, come out, sand it, vacuum, bring it up, spray, bring out the next one, inspect it. And I think as you get to the idea, when it's discouraging, it's feeling like you're doing all this work and it isn't going to look good. When you realize that the work is worth it and that the finished product will, benefit from you, that helps give you kind of the perseverance to stay the course. So I'm going to go in, pull all the plastic, all the masking off inside. I got to clean up out here and get going, and then I'll have to come back and do the hardware, final touch-ups. Kind of what I realized is on the bottom of those cabinets, it's like I'm just going to have to touch them up. They'll actually be like the top part, depending on which way it hangs, but I'll just have to touch those up when I get to it. Too difficult. Maybe if I had a taller spray stand, that would help, but you live and you learn. So I'll do this, then we'll come back and I'll show you where things stand when I'm coming back to this. All right, we're back, and this should be the final day of putting things back together. I started yesterday, and then I had to run home because my kids had a doctor's appointment, so I didn't get it all finished, but let's take a look at the progress. All right. Now, as you can see, I've got some of this started here yesterday. We've got they put a new countertop in, but I've been able to get these doors back on and drawers, some up here and over on this side. Let's look the other way. This on. And so it's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I've got some areas that are going to need some touch up. If you look in closely, like here, this was a hanging down spot, so I need to get some paint on this here, and there's a few areas that are like that that just need a little bit of touch up. And then they're going to paint the rest of this is going to get painted. So we're looking close. We're getting there. Just a few things, and so I'm going to get cracking on that. As you can see here, this is my, let me show you my map. Okay, this is my map for all of these doors and drawers, where that was, and then for the other side, and just labeling like upper, lower, give it a number, and then everything goes in a bag. And then that bag gets labeled with a little piece of paper for the, the cabinet number, the hinge, the knob, or the screws. So then on the doors, let me show you what kind of how I marked that on there. For these ones, some of them, like where the hinge sinks in, you can put it down in there. But on here, if you take a look at, let me find one. Here, what I did is I put tape over the spot where the screws are, and then I wrote underneath that tape. And so I'll pull that tape off, and then that will tell me which door number that is for it on there. Okay, so I'm going to get to work, and then we'll show you the final product. So this is what I mean about marking them. So that's U4, that's upper 4 top, hinge, and then U4, upper 4 bottom. And actually, this is the top and that's the bottom because that's where the knob is. So just, some kind of naming system. Well, that's a wrap. Glad to be done and ready for the floor installers coming in here this afternoon. So let me know what you think. If you like this one, hit the like, leave a comment, and catch you on the next one.